السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد. باب قضاء الحوائج المسلمين. We continue our book Riyad-us Saliheen by Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi. We begin the 29th chapter of the book, and the chapter is with regards to fulfillment of the needs of the Muslims. Babu qada'i al-hawa'ij al-muslimin, to fulfill the needs and the hajat and the things of the necessities of the believers. Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi brings this chapter with one ayat of the Quran, and then he turns towards the ahadith. So we will begin with this one ayat of the Quran. This is an ayat from Surah Al-Hajj, verse number 77. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, وَفَعَلُوا خَيْرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this portion of the verse of the Quran mentions to us and said, and do good deeds. وَفَعَلُوا الْخَيْرِ. Do good, do khair, do the righteous actions. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So that you may become successful. This verse of the Quran itself, even though it seems to be very short and small, but as we know that amongst the qualities and characteristics of the kalam of Allah, the Quran itself is that a single word means oceans of information and knowledge. So in this particular ayat of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to us that do good, always be ready to do good for others. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. In exchange, always knowing that your good will return in your success and your benefit. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So that in exchange, in return, that you may become successful. Ulama have mentioned, this is an Arabic quote, to understand this, and inshallah I'll try to explain this. They say, أَعْلَمُوا لِلَّهِ حَقَّ عَمَلِهِ. When you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you do something as ibadah, then when you do something for the sake of Allah, then do it as it is the haqq and the right of it to be done. وَعْبُدُوهُ حَقَّ إِبَادَتِهِ. And when it comes to the ibadah and the worship of Allah, then worship and perform ibadah as it is the haqq of doing that as well. Meaning, when you are doing something for the sake of Allah, اعملوا لله عمله اعملوا لله حق عمله. When you do something, make sure that you do it as it is the haqq of doing it. And that's why from amongst the characteristics of the true believers is that whenever they do something, they do it in ihsan. They do it in the most excellent of the manner, right? For Muslims as believers, it's not just okay, it's not mediocre. We try our best to do everything in ihsan, the best way. When we have to do our ibadah, then we try to do it in the best of the form. When you have to do something for the sake of Allah, then we do it in the best and the most pleasant of the way as well. So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, with regards to this statement, have mentioned that this particular statement, when it says وَفَعَلُوا خَيْرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, refers to your relationship with your relatives. It refers to fulfilling the rights of your closest relatives. That when you fulfill the rights of your relatives, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, the return in exchange of you fulfilling their haqq is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you success. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, just to conclude with this particular word, the word لَعَلَّ in Arabic is for hope, umid, maybe. The word لَعَلَّ means so hopefully. So now in this particular verse of the Quran, why is the word la'alla used? Why did the ayat of the Quran not say فَفَعَلُوا الْخَيْرِ, do what وَفَعَلُوا الْخَيْرِ, do what is khair, and you will become successful? Why was the additional word la'allakum, so that you may become successful, was added, right? Why is that word added, so that you may become? So ulama have mentioned that this is with regards to a point to understand that at the end of the day, the ultimate success does not even come from my own amal, it comes from the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I may do something, but my intentions may not be for the sake of Allah. So the ultimate success is always attached to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why it is mentioned in the famous hadith and the riwayah where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, from amongst the people of the people of Bani Israel, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed upon a prophet and said that for those amongst your ummati who are engaged in ita'at, let them know that do not become only hopeful on your ita'at and your obedience that you may enter Jannah unless they don't get the mercy and the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And O Nabi, inform the sinners of your ummah that do not let your sins be such that they despair you from the rahmah of Allah, for indeed Allah can forgive everything and no one can hold Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accountable, right? So going back to the point, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, is that even though we do good deeds, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will return us in goodness, but never believing that this amal will get me success. It is the amr of Allah, the order of Allah, it is the fadl of Allah, it's the acceptance of Allah. And at the end of the day, it is the rahmat of Allah that will allow us to become truly successful. So starting a new chapter, inshallah, Babu Qada'il Hawa'ij al-Muslimin, the chapter of fulfillment of the rights and the needs of others. And we begin with this ayat of the Quran from Surah Al-Hajj, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, do what is good. Always present yourself for khair. Even though there is no recognition, no one even knows your name, no one knows you even did that good. But remember, in exchange of that good that you did for the sake of Allah, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, you will definitely achieve success. Falah will come in front of you. You won't even recognize the doors that Allah will open for you for every good that you do for others. May Allah make us from amongst those who are mukhlisin in doing what is correct and right in our lives, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka.